Checking in here on a Wednesday. It is Wednesday, February 28th, 20 and the 24 on the Mayan calendar, 10:47 a.m. from the farm fields of Valparaiso, Indiana. You know, you live in the Midwest when Tuesday is 72 degrees and currently on Wednesday is 25 degrees. Wow, wow, wow. Let's take a look at what's going on around the portfolio today. We're over 1.9, but we are down $2,400 today. Positions that are expiring this week: Alcoa $25 puts. They're 54% in the money. Alcoa is volatile, a lot of volatility. So where is it currently at? We should be in good shape. Yeah, it's trading at 26.38, but it is down 1.2% today. But we're looking good on that trade. Celsius, we're way down on our whiskey on this trade. We're way up on the mountaintop on the trade in general, because we did get in at $51.98 and we have $59 calls on the board. However, they do report earnings tomorrow after the bell. So either way, it's going to move a lot, whether it's up or down. So we'll see. Did we get cookie jarred a little bit? Just a little. But if you followed the trade, and I'm not saying you did, because it's very difficult sometimes to watch my videos because of my ADD and my musical Tourette's, etc. But we did move this from 55. We had $55 calls on the board, and we worked them all the way up to 59. And I was looking at it today. In fact, we'll look at it right now. I was going to possibly roll it out another week at the same strike price just to put some more dollars in my pocket before they're called away. But it's such a huge gap on the bid and ask that right now it's... So if we look down here, we got a 10.15, 10.13 debit to cover. So we'd have to pay money at $60. So if you were doing math, it'd be like, okay, I have to pay $450 to possibly get another $1,000 on upside. I don't need to do that because I'm already at a nice profit. But if I can collect, see, $250 is still not enough because of the violence that goes on with Celsius and with earnings coming up tomorrow after the bell. But if I was able to get, I don't know, 600 to 800, I would want to roll that. So if we look, though, the bid and ask is between 0 and 65, now between minus 10 and 70. So it's just all over the board. Could you put in a number and then see what happens? So if you wanted to collect, let's just say around 500. Hold on, what does that mean? We need one of those decimals in there. There it is. So if we wanted to try to get 51 cents on rolling this for 1 week at the same strike price, collecting just over $500, you could put that in, but I'm going to keep watching it just to see what it does between now and the end of business tomorrow before they report. And if I can catch some dollar bills, I'm going to roll that. Otherwise, I'm just going to let it be called away and book the profit. Book the profit because we got nice upside on a share appreciation, and we've collected a decent amount of premium already. EOG Resources, that is an oil and gas company, 116 calls. I had to put something on the board for them to start earning their keep around here. And right now, it shows that we're only at 18% profit, but it's because oil's been pretty crazy today. Had a nice spike up, and now it's fallen out of bed a bit. So, for instance, EOG was as high as what? 115 today, over 115 today. So that's was a lot of pressure on the 116 calls, but now currently it's all the way down to 113.24. So right now I would say we're not in any danger on the EOG, as easy as 1, 2, 3, but it could turn on us at any time. So we'll be watching that because we're not letting that go at 116 because we're into it for 119. TBT, the inverse of the TLT, 72% in the profit on that. I think I'll start considering taking the trade off at 75%, but right now we are pretty safe. I was just looking at TLT, by the way. Let me update that. Oh yeah, we're doing just fine. But if I wanted to close it, I didn't want to pay $50 to close it, which is what it was asking me for me earlier. It's got to be less than that. It's still showing. Yeah, it's still showing $50 it would cost me because look, I got 10 to close, right? So if we put 10 contracts up there on the board, put it in the middle at a medium likelihood to fill, it would cost me $50. And you know what Big Worm did over $50? He smoked a fool. And if you know that reference, you're way cooler than most people. So right now we'll keep an eye on that because I don't want to pay 50. I don't think I could let it, I think, right out into to the sunset at full profit. But we'll take a closer look between now and the end of business on Friday. Unity 2950 puts are under pressure because Unity is downtown to Chinatown today at, where are you, Unity? You're here somewhere. There it is. They're back up a bit. So they're at 29.92, and we know about Unity. It moves around aggressively. So at the moment, we're out of the money, but we're showing that we're down 2.33% because of the movements that Unity has made recently. But if we take those shares at 29.50, that's okay because we own 1,000 shares at 33.08, which is represented here in this 34.50 call. So that's why we're 99% in the profit here. What would that cost me to close? Because Unity is the type that I can close it today at a penny, and then it could be up 5% tomorrow. So in fact, we are going to close that right now for a penny. How's that? Let's see if we can get it closed. Let's see if we can get it closed for a penny, which would cost us $10 to close that. Okay, get our 1,000 shares back. It could close right away. Let's see. Drum roll, please. We'll keep it on the board and see what happens. But I would do that all day and twice on Sunday because, like I'm saying, even by the end of today, Unity could be up a couple of percent because right now they're down 3.61%, but they like to move around a lot. I like what Unity's doing as far as management is concerned. Old CEO out, new interim CEO in. He's getting rid of a bunch of businesses that are not involved in their core business, which I agree with, but they were businesses that added to the top line revenue like hundreds of millions, but they also cost more than hundreds of millions to create that revenue. So he's righting the ship, in my opinion. I think Unity has could double in its future. Don't write that down because this is not investment advice. So I'll keep that. I would even pay 20 for that. I would even pay 20, but I'm going to keep a close eye on Unity to see what it does over the next hour or so. But I could up my bid to 2 cents and pay $20 to close it. Right now, I'll just leave it on the board because it can fill at any time. It really can. So that is Unity. What's next on the agenda? So there it is on the pending board. The VIX $7 puts are currently a bit into the money. The 850 calls are at 92%. So we'll be looking to close those soon because there will be a VIX move. I don't know when it could be, but it could be tomorrow morning. So we will probably look to close this UVIX today, and not overly concerned with the $7 puts there because I think that the inflation number coming out tomorrow, regardless, is going to add some volatility to the market. It might not be much because volatility is at like an all-time low. That's why I'm messing around with these, which I wouldn't recommend anyone do. But that's that. Go to what's gone on. I wasn't involved with you yesterday. So what did we do yesterday? We bought 1,000 shares of SCO, which is it 2 times or 3 times? Let me look up on my board here. It's the inverse of the USO. So that's oil. Yeah, so it's 2 times the inverse. So I was anticipating that we were in like a 1-2-1-2. That's not a dance move. That is an Elliott wave theory reference on oil, on USO specifically. And I had the right move. I did. So I bought 1,000 shares at 17.75. Then this morning I got nervous because oil was high rolling. So when it started to take a downturn, I'm like, I'm just going to look for some profit. And that's what I did. So I sold those 1,000 shares for 10 cents more than I paid, which was 1,000 shares. So that equaled $100 into my skinny jeans. But in the meantime, what has SCO done? So now you can see the spike that it took in the meantime, because I sold down here. Where were we at? 1785. I sold down here, and then of course it continued to just skyrocket up above 18. But that's just part of it. I'm not a day trader, but I will dabble in it from time to time, for fun and maybe some profit. Exxon Mobile, I did roll my 103s to 104s. So it was a crazy bid I got, which was because I had 30 contracts and it only cost me $188 to potentially add $1 per share to 3,000 shares, which beep, boop, boop. If you do the math, that's $3,000. So would I trade $188 for the potential for 3,000 that is likely? As far as probabilities are concerned, and that's what all that I'm looking to ever trade is probabilities. What is the probability of profit, right? The pop. So I do that all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. So that's what we did. We rolled that. And currently Exxon Mobil's at 104.36. So I'm sitting on $3,000 minus 188 as far as where this was going to go, because I was going to let it go at 103 as we discussed on Monday. But we rolled that to next Friday. Unity, I was a short-term trade, which is those calls we talked about. Those puts we talked about already. But I was able to collect $430 on a 3-day trade. So we'll see what happens, because I'll take it at $29.50 if that's what you're going to give me. But I don't think I will need to. I don't. But that thing, Unity, can move either way. It took a big bite. It took the fast track down after earnings, because the earnings on paper with guidance wasn't good. But if you actually listened to the earnings call, I thought it was very good as far as the future is concerned, especially the back half of 2024. So that's all we got, right? That's our current update for you today. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment, share with a lovable friend, and I will see you in the next video.